We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to a live Vikings Uncensored Saturday Night Live Late Night Edition.
I was just messaging Doc before the show started, and I looked up and I seen his message. Enjoy the night with the fam, Doc.
Yeah, Doc, you got to take care of the fam stuff. I mean, that's more important than a couple of hacks talking football for an hour. So, good evening, Norsefius. Shout out to Doc and the family. Aunt, wild day in college football. Yes. Somebody done a welfare check on our buddy Ted Glover yet, because I'm sure he's having a rough night. But Norsefius going with the way to go Michigan. I unfortunately did not get a chance to see the game. I was just kind of following the score on my Fox Sports app while I was doing a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I didn't exactly expect that outcome of that game either. But disgusting act. Good evening. Just leaving the dealership. But it is Saturday night. We have a Vikings football game tomorrow, Sunday at noon. Of course, this being the long holiday weekend, already several games in the books and a lot of stuff going on. Not only with the Vikings, but with the rest of the NFL as well. So we'll get into the news, talk about all the latest there. We'll give Brunswick his last word on the Bears game, which was now two games ago for the Bears. But we'll hit that. Then we'll roll into the preview of Sunday's matchup versus Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Hit our keys to the game as always, and a shortened prediction segment this week, being every other team in the NFC North has already played their Week 13 games. So with that, let us roll into that to start here.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Let's roll the beautiful bean footage. Biggest news, of course, from the Minnesota Vikings this week is that former New York Giants quarterback and top 10 overall pick, Daniel Jones, signing a practice squad deal with the Minnesota Vikings to come and begin the reclamation project under Kevin O'Connell.
So does that mean if he gets elevated to the active roster that his contract or that his numbers go higher as far as contract goes?
They would have to sign him to the 53. They can elevate him off the practice squad as many times, but you know, like this week, I'm guessing he would serve as the emergency third quarterback.
Yeah, he'll probably be on the sideline.
I don't think they got rid of Brett Rippon yet. I think Rippon's still here.
That's the guy I look for him to get rid of. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now, but as it sits right now, I'm going to respectfully disagree completely with you on that. And we'll talk about this as we get into this here. Daniel Jones. I mean, this whole situation is just showing the amount of respect and the amount of clout that Kevin O'Connell is gaining around the NFL and league circles on how he works with quarterbacks.
Good point.
I mean, you know, I talked about this a little bit on Monday's show before the official word had come down, when the rumors were coming out that this was a possibility. last year and the year before, Kevin O'Connell unlocked a level out of Kirk Cousins that hadn't previously been seen. And then, of course, this year, what he's done with Sam Darnold, turning Darnold into a legitimate quarterback in this league.
The fact that it says a lot about Daniel Jones for the fact that he wants to be here on the practice squad.
Yeah.
I think. Anyways.
Well, what I heard from various outlets was that the Las Vegas Raiders wanted to sign Daniel Jones and have him basically be their starter.
Yep.
They probably would. He probably wouldn't have started on Friday in that clusterfuck of a game that they had against Kansas City, but they wanted him to be their starter going forward.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I would rather go to Minnesota and be on the practice squad and work under Kevin O'Connell.
And I watched the interview they had with him on the practice field there at TCO, and the feeling I got was he wants to be here. This is where he wants to be, and a big part of it is because of head coach Kevin O'Connell.
Yep. Ronald, welcome to the show. A new name, always good to see that. And you jumped in right on time because that's what we're hitting on here right now.
I think it's a great contingency plan. I think it's an amazing contingency plan. It's just in case. I don't look for McCarthy to miss any time next year due to his knee injury, but I mean, I think they told Daniel Jones he has an opportunity to battle for the number 1 spot in training camp next season.
I don't know that they went that far because the plan has always been for JJ McCarthy to be the guy in 2025. I think it's more that Daniel Jones, looking at what they've done with Sam Darnold, guy that in league circles was talked about as being a complete and total bust, very similar to what, the impression on Daniel Jones has been right now.
He literally might just be coming here to become a better quarterback.
Yeah, it's
as well. Yes.
I've said this to several people when we've been talking about it. It's a reclamation project. He's going to come back in here. He's going to sit, is sitting here for at least the next 6 games to finish out the regular season. And however far the Vikings go in the playoffs, he will be under contract for,
a good guy to have in the room. Good guy to have in the quarterback room.
He is. And
he's a great guy. I mean, he's not a drama queen. I mean, he holds himself accountable for his mistakes and shit like that. He's a good guy as far as football players go. I mean,
and Daniel Jones, to his credit, realizes that he has deficiencies in his game that need to be fixed if he wants to eventually be a starting quarterback in this league again on somebody other than some god-awful team that is desperate for a quarterback.
I believe if Daniel Jones can fix the issues that he has, he could be a very, very, very good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, he's got talent there. I mean, he's shown sparks of it at times, but then, he's goes a year without throwing a touchdown pass at his home stadium, which, I mean, but no, and this is a smart move by Minnesota. They got him for almost nothing. I mean, your practice squad, I think
less than $1 million. What was it? $375?
I think it's like 100. No, it's not even that. I think it's like for the remaining 6 games, it's like $100,000 because it's prorated.
And just to get the guy in your quarterback room.
Yeah, and
that bottom line.
The Giants are on the hook for his entire contract because he passed waivers. Now, it'll back off by that $100,000 or whatever the Vikings are paying him for the next 6 weeks. But it's right now.
I could see come playoff time. We get to the playoffs, him being elevated as the number 2 quarterback on this team.
Yeah, well, I mean, as it sits right now,
that's a controversy, but just to have a good second guy.
Yeah. And that's going to be the thing coming down into it. I mean, I know they like Nick Mullins and he knows the offense, but one thing with Daniel Jones is he doesn't turn the ball over a ton.
No, he just has a hard time getting points on the board.
Yeah. I mean, which, Nick Mullins' credit, he'll go out there and sling the ball with the best of them, but he's going to throw 6 interceptions while he's at it.
Right.
But, the biggest thing with this and where I think it's a great move from Minnesota is the only quarterback currently under contract for the 2025 season is J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah,
Nick Mullins is not under contract. Sam Darnold is not under contract, and Sam Darnold has played himself to a point where he's going to get, I saw somebody say $32 million.
Yeah, that was what Sportsbook had it marked at.
Spotrac has it at like 32, but I think Darnold's going to be pushing probably a $38 to a $40 million contract.
Yeah, it's always higher than what they have it marked.
Yeah, he's not going to go out there and get that 55 to 60 million or whatever, like Dak and Jordan Love and stuff. But
after this season, Darnold has definitely cemented him as the best free agent quarterback available come next season, because it's not a big list of any big names.
No, it's not, and I haven't looked to see everything, but quality.
It's not. I've seen it. There's not a bunch of good-looking guys on that.
And
list.
I mean, as Vikings fans are well aware, franchise caliber or quality starting level, at least quarterbacks don't just come open and available now. And with the plan always being that J.J. McCarthy is taking over next year, Sam Darnold becomes that guy. I mean, could Darnold come back here on a backup deal to back up McCarthy? I suppose it's possible. But I mean, I think Darnold is going to want.
Darnold's not going to back up McCarthy.
No, I don't think so either. And I've heard some people saying that, but the plan has always been for J.J. McCarthy. Now you have to have a contingency plan. Of course, he's a rookie. I mean, he's basically going to be a rookie again. He's coming off knee injury, which, a meniscus isn't that big of a deal. Dude, but
imagine giving KOC a quarterback like Mahomes. I mean, any coach would love the Mahomes for a quarterback, but I mean, look what KOC has done with the last 4 quarterbacks he's had to have start bring the stash back. Bruns, you look like an oversized. What the fuck? Oh man, yeah, it always comes back. It always comes back, but it gets so long, I just have to shave it off.
Yeah, he's got to go with the Amish Jesus here for a little while first, and then...
it's been a recurring thing on this show, but right. Yeah, I mean, Darnold's not going to sit behind McCarthy.
No, nor should he. I mean, he's played well enough this year that he deserves a chance to start someplace. Now,
I think he very well could have started the season had he not fucked up his knee.
Yeah,
we were talking about it. He was on track to possibly beat out Sam Darnold for the starting job.
Yeah. Now back on Darnold, he's earned that right to be, to get a starting job someplace. Yeah. Now, yes. the key is going to be, can he go someplace else that's not in, in that Shanahan McVay system and be successful? That's the big question. Now, on the plus side,
that is it. Yes.
On the plus side, there are a lot of teams that run a variant of that system now, so that, but has the coaching really flipped the switch for Darnold? That just might be it too. Or is it more the coaching? Is it Kevin O'Connell, and then once Darnold goes someplace else where KOC is no longer here, does he revert back to the old Darnold? I mean, that's possible.
Or does the coaching just stick with Darnold and he's able to stay at that next level
right.
as a quarterback?
Better deep ball passer right now than
no.
Darnold.
I don't. There isn't.
No, you can definitely. I mean, I can hear the argument, but
we used to get so pissed about Kirk not taking the shot, and Darnold lets his balls hang out and airs it out and takes the shot damn near every time.
Now to that point, and I'm we'll give you that last word here in a minute, but one of my keys last week against the Bears was taking what they gave you, and to Darnold's credit, he did that last week.
Going off of that, is this offense starting to find its way, Rhino?
I hope so.
Is this offense starting to find its identity right at the right time of the season? I believe so. Darnold is spreading that fucking rock around like a veteran. He's not sticking to Jefferson, and you know what? He's finding success.
Yeah. Well, and
not saying that he shouldn't target Jefferson, but I mean, he's not forcing it anymore.
Right. And that was the thing. Jared, good evening. Another new name in the chat. But that's the one thing we talked about, the coaching, after that game against Jacksonville, where, all he seemed to do was try to force the ball to Jefferson, and it got picked off 3 times. to his credit, the last 2 games, he hasn't turned the ball over. I mean, there was that fumble that was
on that gotta have it drive at the end of the last game.
Yeah, in overtime.
Hawkinson was the thing of beauty.
Yeah, Sam Darnold was absolute freaking money on that drive. But we got a couple other things I want to hit before we get into your wrap up on the Bears game. So we'll kind of move on. Bob, do you think he wants to come back? I could see a scenario where, maybe he's content doing that. Knowing quarterbacks and knowing ego, I think he wants to. He's proved this year that he should be a starter.
I think both KFC and Darnold both know the answer to that question.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, it depends on how much they offer him, but they're not going to offer him $30 million to be JJ McCarthy's backup. They're not.
I think from the beginning they knew it was going to be a 1-year deal. Like we've said all along, Rhino, since Kwesi and KOC have got here, they've had a plan, and you know what? For 95% of it, they've stuck to that plan.
Yep. The only way that the plan really varied is because they didn't have that opportunity but we talked about this in the preseason too, that Darnold has played well enough that I don't think you would have been could have benched him for McCarthy at this point.
A lot of us as fans, when we signed Darnold, we're like, oh shit, what are we doing? But you know what? It's proven every single one of us that thought, oh shit, at that moment wrong, and just really elevated KOC as a head coach and a quarterback whisperer, in my opinion. Like they always said Zim was the cornerback whisperer, and I never seen it. KOC is truly a quarterback whisperer with what he's done.
Yeah, he is.
With what's happened.
Yeah.
During his tenure as coach.
Bob's thinking he goes back to the Jets. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to the cool. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to the Giants. I don't think he goes back to the Jets because
the Giants.
Yeah, because I think Daboll is on thin ice in New York there, so Daboll could stick around and Darnold could still end up back there, but I don't see him going back to the Jets because they still got the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. He's technically under contract yet next year. I know everybody's saying that he's probably not going to be back there next year.
I look for Rodgers to retire, man. If it was me at this point. I mean,
he's 42 years old, and I heard some stupid rumor today that Rodgers and Davante Adams and Bill Belichick are scheming behind the scenes to go to New York, the Giants.
Oh, wow.
And do stuff there. And you can't take any of that to heart because both Rodgers and Adams are under contract. So that's tampering. And
yeah, absolutely.
Rodgers just needs to go away. That's all I can say. But anyway,
I don't know that the Rams with Northeast is saying there, if that would be the place that Darnold would go. I think they're going to stick with Stafford for another season there. And I know right now Sam isn't going to want to go somewhere where he's back up. He's going to want to go somewhere and start again.
Right. But to that point, there was talk earlier in the year, about them maybe moving on from Stafford. Stafford may be getting to a point where he's might be willing to hang it up. He's dealt with injuries. He's done some
stuff. If that's the case, then absolutely.
Then I think him going to the Rams and playing for
that makes complete sense for sure. Norfrey is.
Yeah, and I think that would be a great landing spot for him.
If it's on Stafford's own accord and he's leaving, then yes, absolutely. That might be the number one spot just for the system alone and the head coaching and there's a scheme that they run over there. Right. So makes sense. That's a good point.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on from that, though. We got a few other things here to hit, and then we'll get into the preview. Of course, then this week, Gabriel Murphy, the edge rusher who spent the entire first half of the season plus on IR, they played a little game of chicken with the rest of the league. They waived Murphy and banked on the fact that he would clear waivers, which he did. So they signed him back to the practice squad same time as they did with Daniel Jones.
Sometimes you got to roll the dice. You got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, and they lucked out and got it through. Bob, I'm going to put this to bed right now. no, Rodgers is not going to come in and be somebody's backup. And no, I don't want
no,
that. I don't want that son of a bitch on this team. No.
Like we said last week, we don't feel the same way. We don't feel the same way we did about Favre than what we do about Rodgers. I do not want him at all on this team whatsoever.
No.
No.
Rodgers is fucking spent, and I don't want him anywhere near this team. The only time I want him anywhere close to this team is to see.
Look what he's done to the Jets. You can just, you know that's most of that.
He would come in here and destroy the chemistry in the locker room. The only time I want Aaron Rodgers anywhere near the Vikings is when Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel have him on his back if we play against him. Norrisville. Hey, well, at least we give you something in the evening to watch, Norrisville.
We're the B show. We're the B show.
But yeah, so Murphy goes to the practice squad. In order to make room for Murphy and Daniel Jones, what was your favorite Julian Pearl moment? He was released, and then tight end Robert Tunyon also let
Julian
go.
Pearl, who is that?
He's some offensive lineman that we had on the practice squad for.
I feel like we should have known this, but
I knew he was on there. I still know nothing about the guy. I just knew the name that he was on the practice squad. So
and then we picked up that guy, right? That you were just gonna say, Javin Will.
Yeah,
the linebacker.
Right. I forgot to write his name. Yeah,
he was a second rounder, wasn't he?
No, he was the first round. He was a first round pick. He from the Commanders because Ivan Pace Jr. went on IR. So Norris Fitz is all good. We were just giving you shit back on it. So yeah.
No, yeah, right. I was just messing around, dude.
But yeah, we signed former first rounder from the Commanders. Again, guy that hadn't really panned out, but the Vikings, seem to be making a habit out of giving guys second chances and getting something out of them. So,
mini Pearl,
yeah, pearl necklace. I don't know, whatever. But
oh man, that is some Vikings.
Hey, it's late. It's late night now. It's after prime time. We can be a little more uncensored than normal, but but yeah. Anyway, so that's the Vikings move. Jamin Davis, thanks, Ant. That was the guy.
Jamin. I knew it was one of the two.
Yeah, I think it's actually Javin or whatever. But anyway, the other, which will roll into Brunswick's last word here, the other big news NFC related that does affect the Vikings a little bit since we have to play them again in a couple weeks here. But after that absolute fucking debacle on Thanksgiving, the Bears finally fire head coach Matt Eberflus. I think that's
the two worst instances of time management this week in all of football in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell.
They could have tied it up. They could have fucking tied it up.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Santos hasn't been great kicking the ball, but you had a timeout in your pocket. You had 30-some seconds, and the clock runs out on you, and you don't even get a chance to kick a field goal.
That was the ugliest time management, I think, in my lifetime that I've seen.
That in itself was bad enough, but I think what the final straw that broke the camel's back on that deal was when he goes out to his press conference after the game and says we did the right thing, and I'm happy with the call. I'm happy with everything else. It just didn't work out the way we wanted to.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. And that right there, I think that had to have been the final straw. And I don't know, I would guess that the McCaskies or whoever the hell owns the Bears now.
That whole locker room now.
But
they were done with Eberflus.
Yeah. He lost the locker room after that. And
yes,
whether Poles would have done it or did it on his own, or whether he had ownership saying, get this clown out of here.
I told you it was a dumpster fire over there, and it is.
Yeah. And it just, you can't be, I don't know how you get to be a coach in the NFL with thought processes and stuff like that. I mean,
Well, then you got Antonio Pierce over there in Oakland, it wasn't his fault, but they fucked. That was bad time management as well. End of the game.
Yeah.
Management.
And I want to comment on disgusting acts thing here. I mean, that just shows you the clusterfuck of the organization that the Bears are at right now, because not only did they fire Matt Eberflus, they made him go out and do his day after post or press conference
as they were having
Friday morning meeting. And then 2 hours later fired him. So they made him go out there and talk about it again, just because it was so bad that they made him go out just to make a fool of himself again to the media. I mean,
words out of his mouth. That is, he is preparing as a head coach to coach his team against San Francisco on Sunday.
Yeah, and I saw that somebody put a meme up of the Ozark thing. You know, it's I'm preparing to coach. You know, to get this team ready for San Francisco on the weekend, and then you post the meme up. You know, the fuck you are.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So with the Bears, let's give Brunswick his last word on that game last weekend in Soldier Field against the Bears, and then we will roll on to the preview of this week's game. So the floor is yours, Mr. Brunswick.
I'm not going to lie. When I was talking to Rhino towards the end of the game, and we still had the game in hand, basically we had that 11-point lead or whatever it was. I was happy with the way that we played against the Bears at Soldier Field. It felt like a NFC North, NFC Central, old-fashioned, just get after it type of football game. These divisional games are usually always, for the most part, close. But for us to go on the road,
the only part I didn't like was the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I loved the game outside of what the defense let happen in the last 2 minutes of the game. I thought we played a great game throughout for the most part. We were able to move the ball and then put points on the board with most of the drives that we had. Like I said earlier in the episode, I think this offense is finding itself at the right time of the season. I feel like we're about to get real dangerous, but you know what? We have a formidable opponent coming up on Sunday in Arizona. I talked about it 2 weeks ago that this Arizona team can sneak up on you and beat you. So, but yeah, I was happy. I would have liked to see us terrorize Caleb Williams a little bit more, but given to his credit, he played a damn good game, but just didn't do enough to beat us. And we were able to win 3 games on the road since I think the year 2000.
I think it was the 98 year was the last time we did it.
Yeah, I mean, to win games on the road, it's I'll take it. I can't complain. We're winning games. This is a different team than the 2022 team. You know, a lot of people are comparing this team to the team from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I have a lot more faith in this team. It's just that fourth quarter, we can't let teams. The thing that's this year is we keep letting teams back into the game. We got to stop with that shit, and that's when one of my keys later on in the show. Just a little bit of foreshadowing there.
That's where I'm at, Bob. Too. Just quick off topic there, but
I think North City is from Marshall, Minnesota, if I remember right. Don't mean to dox North, my bad.
Right. Struggle to contain Williams, but better buck up from Murray. He's quicker. Yeah, and that's a very good transition, Jared. Do you have anything else you wanted to hit on the Bears game before we move into the?
Nope. I think you helped me out there with that. The last 2 minutes of the game I didn't like, but the rest of it I thought we played really well. Outside, and the Aaron Jones fumble was kind of a God damn it type of thing, or gosh darn it type of thing. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I thought we played very well, coach wise and performance wise.
So with that, let's roll into that as Jared led us into the game on Sunday, 12 noon, U.S. Bank Stadium, finally back after a month. And we welcome in the Arizona Cardinals, an Arizona Cardinals team who is sneakily better than what most people thought they were going to be. When we looked at this game a month and a half ago, this is an easy win. We can't look past Arizona this week.
No, We cannot.
Uh,
We absolutely cannot. They're sneaky. They're sneaky.
Yep. James Conner has been running the ball extremely well all season. And Kyler Murray, to his credit, has played. I mean, Kyler Murray typically, we've seen it for years in the joke, the whole Call of Duty jokes and all that other stuff. Kyler Murray started out strong at the beginning of the season like he's want to do normally, but he's kept it up. And, rolling into December now, he's still playing well.
He's focused for sure. He's focused on the game.
And, what Jared talked about there containing Caleb Williams last week. The thing with Caleb Williams is, he's more unpredictable in the backfield. He's extremely undisciplined. He does that run around.
If Murray's going to run, he's going to run. Whereas if Williams he's going to take a chance and throw a ball.
Yeah. And that was a point I was getting to here. Kyler Murray is way more disciplined and way more deliberate when he runs. He's not, he will do that, get out of the pocket and try to, make something happen kind of thing. But he's way more focused on it when he's doing it. He knows what he's trying to do, trying to look downfield, or he's going to just tuck it and take off. He's not going to make that 20-yard loop around back in the backfield and get sacked for 18 yards like Caleb Williams did in the postseason. I hope there's nobody
on our team that thinks like Ann Townsend right now. Look at that. That comment right there is just setting us up for complacency.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, Ant, you've been a Vikings fan long enough. We've all been Vikings fans long enough to know that we can't just go out there and everybody said that when we played the Jaguars. That was a close game. Everybody said that when we played Tennessee. Tennessee was a tough game. Chicago last week should have been well in hand, and it wasn't.
No, we could not be overlooking the fucking Cardinals this week and thinking that we're just going to make things happen. We need to go out there and prove it.
Exactly. Now, with that being said, there is, on the injury front, there's a few things going on here. Oliver, again, out this week. Little blow to the tight end room there. So it will be Hawkinson, Johnny Munt, who, of course, was the one that let the onside kick bounce off his leg last week, and Nick Muse, I'm guessing, gets called back up to the activated for the third tight end.
As a month goes, like what do you even do? Like that's just one of those moments. Like you cannot avoid that, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on that one because, I know his primary thing is to try to block so that the guys behind him are the ones that get it. But you've got to know if you're on the hands team, you've got to know that ball is coming. If that ball hadn't hit him in the foot, it wasn't going 10 yards, and the Vikings would have gotten the ball there. You got to have the spatial awareness there to make sure that you're the hell out of the way of that thing.
I think 99 out of 100 times that ball isn't hitting him in the leg, and that's just one of those moments. It's just like, shit. What did I just do? Type of moment.
Yeah, it's that Indian burial ground, Soldier Field bullshit that we tend to deal with all the time.
Yeah.
But also potential concerning Cam Robinson's listed as questionable. Of course, he left the game early last week. Questenberry did okay in his stead, I guess, to hold it down. Now, the Cardinals don't have that big name pass rusher kind of guy that we have to focus on solely. So if
that defense is still playing pretty damn good though over there.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of, they don't have a ton of big name guys on that defense, but it's a good defense. I think right now they're 13th in total yards, 15th against the pass, and 16th against the run. So, I mean, they're middle of the road, but respectable. But on the Cardinals side, they've got safety Jalen Thompson, who's one of their starters. He is listed as questionable. One of their backup safeties is questionable. running back Emery Demicado is questionable, and defensive lineman Darius Robinson questionable. Now they had a couple of their offensive guys that were on the early injury report, but as of Friday had been cleared. I mean, the Cardinals have some talent. You know, they got spanked pretty good by Seattle last week, but
right.
You know, that we talked about James Conner already. I mean, Conner's
a hell of a running back.
He is a hell of a running back. He's been a hell of a running back for a long time. He's not a spring chicken anymore, but he's having a very, very good year. Now, to the Vikings' credit, I mean, we are, tops in the league in run defense, so hopefully we can
proved it again last week.
Yeah. Yeah, if you take away the runs that Caleb Williams got just from doing his other stuff, the running backs, I think, got held to like 33 yards between the two of them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That our run defense is really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Now, talking about some of the guys that they've got over there, the one big guy that you got to watch out for is Budda Baker coming out of that safety position. I mean, he's their Harrison Smith. He's a hell of a player. He's been a good player for them, ever since he came into the league. Kazir White and linebacker, he's a good player. They got cornerbacks, bit of unsung. Murphy Bunting is probably their biggest name guy over there.
I look for Donald to have a good day through the air again.
Yeah, I think there's a definite possibility that Jefferson could be sitting on a big game here.
Or Addison again. Replicate what he did last week, honestly.
Yeah. That, like Jefferson said after the game last week, either I'm going to go off or everybody else going to go off. And that last week, everybody else went off. So I think.
Are we going to have one of those games I thought we were going to have a couple of weeks ago where 3 guys get 100 yards receiving?
We had 2 last week.
Right. I've been waiting for it. If that's the case, then that answers my question. This offense has got an identity now at that point.
Mm-hmm. And to the point we made earlier is they don't have that Jalen Johnson type guy like the Bears had last week that can potentially shadow Jefferson. So they're going to have
type of guy, a cornerback. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you're going to have Budda Baker or whoever.
Budda Baker hasn't played that great in coverage. He's known as
he's more that in the box type safety,
that old school safety type of player.
Yeah, like I said, like the Harrison Smith guy that's going to come up and blitz the quarterback or come up on the
Harrison Smith. I believe is a lot better in coverage than Budda Baker is.
But I mean, just from playing style. I mean,
the leadership.
Yep.
Yes,
and he's going to get in there and he's going to hit you and he's going to stick his nose up in there to try to blow things up.
But he does struggle in coverage. So I believe and I've heard that he struggles in coverage. So we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Jefferson's probably sitting on a pretty good sized game here. He doesn't need, I think it's 18 yards or something like that to get to 1,000 for this year. It's not a ton of yards. I forget the exact number, but it's something like that, 18, 30 yards, something like that.
I look for all of our receivers to get hot towards the end of the season. That's what would be amazing. And the potential that this team has at receivers, and that's what it should be. If we hit our highest potential this year, watch out, come playoff time.
Yeah. And, Detroit just proved again on Thursday that they're beatable. Chicago had no right to lose that game. And
or at least tie it up and make it another game and make it a whole new game.
But I mean, the opportunities were there for Chicago, and they just failed to take advantage of it.
Detroit's conquerable. Detroit is conquerable. They're not the almighty that everybody thinks they are right now.
I'm not dissing Detroit. They are right now the best team in the league until proven otherwise. They are.
Yep, they're rolling.
But they've stumbled a little bit the last couple of weeks, and it's extremely hard to play at that level that long.
And they went into Detroit and almost beat them. So that really gives me some confidence going into week 18.
Right. Skull for Life Barber, good evening. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely, it's not as quote unquote gimme of a game as we talked about earlier, but this is still a game Minnesota should win.
Oh yeah, it's a game that we should win.
The crowd's going to be fired up. Not the team
First
not
time
being
back
home
in
for a
3
month.
weeks.
Yeah.
But
with that, let's roll into the keys to the game. As we do every week, the 3 or 4 whatever things that we think that the Vikings must do in order to be successful against the Cardinals tomorrow. So as always, we will start with you, Mr. Brunswick. Grab the keys to the car.
I got some keys here for you. So we've kind of alluded to this earlier in the episode, but do not let Kyler Murray have an opportunity to make off-script plays or plays with his legs. If you get home, bring him down. And then it's a game of angles. And Rhino and I were talking about angles last week with some of the angles that were taken on Williams. If you get home, you got to take him down. Continue to find, we talked about this too. We alluded to this earlier in the episode. Continue to find an identity on offense. The last 2 games, things seem to be coming along and shaping out all around on offense. Sam has been doing a great job spreading the ball around the last couple of weeks and getting everybody involved. Jefferson has a big part in that as well, despite the dip in his stat lines. Number 3, play a full game on defense. Quit letting teams sneak back into games in the second half. We need to play a full game on defense and quit letting teams get back into the game. I don't know what it is, if it's play calling, if it's execution, I'm not sure. The teams are finding ways to get themselves back into games, and we got to stop that.
Yeah.
Number 4, start fast and finish play. Start fast and finish. Play complementary football. Continue to stay aggressive. Do not get a feeling of being comfortable and then laying off. Would be nice to see a complete game by all 3 units this week. Number 5, last but not least, and Sam has been considerably better about this, but as a team, take care of the football. Like I've mentioned the last few weeks, I couldn't even tell you the last game that we had where we didn't turn the ball over and had a clean game in that category. And 5B, finish drives with points once you cross the 50. Nothing is more frustrating for me personally as a fan when things are rolling on a drive and you're moving the ball considerably well down the field, and then we cross the 50 and stall out. And 5C, the home crowd this weekend. Get loud, stay loud, make life hell for that Arizona offense. Those are my keys. Complete those keys, we're going to win the game.
Yeah, to Norrisvius has a good point here on chat, Griffin. And I've been saying this for several weeks here now that, you don't hear his name called out. And if you're a cornerback, a starting quarterback, and they don't hear your name, that's all you can ask for right there, because that means that they aren't throwing the ball at you.
And then you know what? A lot of teams really aren't beating us deep. They're beating us underneath. They're getting those 5-yard completions, and it's all about the yak for the receivers after they get the catch. They're not burning us down the field, really.
No, the problem has been when we don't get home on the pass rush, and then, those receivers hit the hole in the zone because we're playing, zone. I know that the goal to begin the season was they wanted to start playing more man coverage, but unfortunately with the guys that we've got, they're not man cornerbacks, or at this point
not anymore anyways. The juice isn't there like it used to be.
Yeah, like Gilmore. I mean, Gilmore used to be very good at it, but yeah, he's at a point where, so that that's where it's kind of that bend but don't break, because they are going to give up yards because of that.
But they're not allowing a lot of points either at the same time. But this last weekend, man, you can't let teams get back in the games.
We're always trying to play catch up to you, Doc. But yeah, so anyway, Back onto my keys for the game here. Once again, you and I are pretty much on the same wavelength for a lot of this. Key number one, keep Kyler Murray contained. Keep him in the pocket. He can throw the ball. I mean, I'm not saying that he can't throw the ball, but if you keep him in as a pocket passer and don't let him get out and move around, not even so much taking off and running with it, but, breaking the pocket and getting out on bootlegs and stuff and that kind of stuff. That's where he's effective. If you can keep him corralled within the pocket, he's not as effective.
Before you get to your second point, I hate to interrupt you, but I just had this come to my head. And with his size, Rhino.
Yeah.
Get your hands in the air.
Yep.
Get your hands in the air.
I mean, we've been pretty good at, doing that kind of stuff this year as it is.
But with his frame, as a defensive lineman, if you can't get home, get your hands up.
Get your hands up. Absolutely. But, and like I mentioned earlier, he is far more disciplined in his runs and that kind of stuff than what we saw last week with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams probably was a pretty good warm up for what Kyler's going to do, just because we had to be more ready for the unpredictable. So that's key number one, is keep Kyler Murray in the pocket and, just make him beat you as a regular standard pocket quarterback. Second key, and I've used this key, for several weeks, it's take what they're giving you. You don't force the ball. Don't feel that you need to throw the ball at Justin Jefferson 12 times because he only had 3 catches last week. If they're blanketing Jefferson, we saw, we've seen it. Addison's going to be open, or Hawkinson's going to be open across the middle. We don't have to take 30-yard shots. You can take a 5-yard hit to Hawkinson that turns into a first down. Keep the chains moving. Establish the run. Aaron Jones last week went up over 100 yards. We can do that. We need to do that again this week.
A nice grinder type of game Jones did last week.
Yeah, and, like we talked about last week and before, we were wondering where the hell play action went. Last week, with Aaron Jones being able to run the ball, they were able to use play action, and it worked to success. So, that I know there's the old tired cliche is you run to set up the pass, but there's truth to that. If you can't show that you can run the ball, they don't respect it, then you can't play action, and then they're going to be just pinning their ears back and coming after you every play. And just take what's there, keep the ball moving, keep Arizona's offense off the field, win that time of possession, and don't turn the ball over. That's plain and simple. And that leads me again to my final point. And I say this one every week too. Don't shoot yourselves in the foot. Again, we had a couple of times against the Bears. We had that, the Aaron Jones fumble, which I'm going to give the Bear defender credit. I forget who it was at the time, but I mean, he just reached in there and ripped it out of there. It wasn't a mishandled by Jones or anything like that. It was,
he was just fighting for yards too. He really, I felt it, man, as a fan. He wanted that touchdown so bad.
Yep. And
he did fight for it. And the worst thing that could have happened is what happened.
Right. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to
go down,
yep. Again, that goes back to taking what they're giving you. It's live to play another play. Okay, it's 3rd and 1 instead of you maybe getting that, trying to force to get that final first down on 2nd down, but you've got another play. You're down there. You would have at least gotten 3 points. And what do you?
Ant's comment, yeah, I figure that. I think a lot of us do.
Yeah.
Week 18 versus Detroit, winner wins the North. I've been thinking that since the schedule came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, we've been better about it the last few weeks penalty wise, but we still get some of those ones where you rip off a nice run or first down pass or something like that, and it gets called back for a hold. Or
yeah, that's killer for sure.
We got to eliminate those. Play a clean game. Play a complete game. And there should be no reason why the Vikings don't
think
walk
we've
out
done
here
a
with a
lot better
victory.
pre-snap penalty-wise since I think week 6.
Yeah, we have gotten better at it, and to their credit, but it still rears it's not only just the pre-snap stuff. You get those holes that get thrown in there, or you get, we know that the officiating is probably going to be terrible tomorrow.
God, I hope not. It's been so bad all year, all around the league, but
I mean,
it's probably going to be, yes.
Yeah, but that's why, I mean, you have to play like the officiating is going to suck, so that you don't put yourself in a position to where the officiating can actually dictate the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's plain and simple. Those are my keys. Again, not earth shattering stuff. The biggest thing, to Norrisville is, don't let James Conner beat you, and keep Murray in the pocket, and you stand a very good chance of winning the game.
Marvin Harrison hasn't really making much of a splash his rookie year. He's a fucking hell of a talent, that's for sure. He's made some great catches, but I expected more. More.
And he's another guy that you can't forget about.
Greg Dorsch is pretty good too at receiver over there in Arizona.
Yeah. But
they got a good tight end too, Trey McBride. He's been really coming around the last few weeks.
Yeah. And one of these days, Harrison's going to just, completely go off. And I just hope it isn't this week, but
no shit. Let's not let it be tomorrow.
Right. So anyway, with that, we'll roll into our predictions segment, where we typically take a look at not only the Vikings game, but also what our rivals in the NFC North are doing. But since the other 3 NFC North teams have already played this week, of course, Detroit and Chicago playing, and then Green Bay playing Miami on Thanksgiving night. The Vikings are the only show in town this week, or this Sunday, for the NFL and NFC North. And again, noon on Sunday at US Bank Stadium, the Cardinals coming into town. Give me your prediction, Brunswick.
Man, we're at home. We've already dropped one at home. We got to be able to go and play at our place and win games, week after week when we're at home. You gotta just defend your home turf. With that being said, 27-13 Vikings.
I would really love to see a 2-3 score win. Just something where the game really isn't in doubt. Instead of some of these, that we're back to this nail biting. And I saw our buddy Drew made this comment the other day, and some on a discussion that was going on. The NFL is a 1-score league. I mean,
Oof. Eric Lind with the prediction there. I hope not.
Yeah, I hope it's not that close. I mean, it's still a win, and I'll take a win as a win. I don't, whether it's by 1 or by 30, but
70-3 Vikes. I love it.
I would like to hit
fucking 3 200-yard receivers if that's the case.
I would just like to hit, 40 points once this year. That would be nice, but I don't know.
Tell you the last time we had 40 points. It's been a few seasons.
It's been a minute. But yeah, I mean, this is a game the Vikings need to win. You got to keep pace with Detroit, and Green Bay is breathing down your necks right behind you. So we're kind of getting back into the second gauntlet of the Viking season coming up here now for the last 6 weeks of the year. So
I look at next week's game getting flexed, just off the cuff.
It's too late to flex it now because you have to flex 2 weeks. You have to flex 2 weeks in advance.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's not going to be flexed.
No, it'll be a Sunday game next week, but kind of surprised that they didn't make it a flex game to begin with. But
that Week 18 game is getting flexed. We all know that.
Yeah, especially if things keep up the way they are, and that's still listed as they don't have a time listed. It's still listed as TBD. So
if it goes down to if things stay like they are right now, it's going to be the game of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
outside of the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship, that'll be the game of the year in my book anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever substance that holds.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, back to it. I think the Vikings take care of business here, and we should hopefully win. I'll give us a 13-point victory. I don't know numbers wise, but we'll go with that. And hopefully we can relax a little bit in the fourth quarter and not be chewing on glass and like Doc running up massive bar tabs because we have to drink to calm our nerves. But
I'd like to see him get 4 passing touchdowns once this year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Norris 3 passing TDs from Sammy and an end around rushing touchdown for Addison. I'll take that.
Very possible. It's very possible.
16-10 Vikes because it's us. You're probably not wrong on that, Doc. I mean, we should be able to score it more than 16 points against Arizona. But stranger things have happened, and I've gotten to a point with this team where I can't say with good conscience, yeah, this is, we will do this or we can do this against this team, because the minute you do say that, they don't.
And Kevin O'Connell's notoriously a one-score coach, man.
Yeah. Which, again, for as much as I love KOC and I think he's the right
I got them winning by 67. Sweet again.
Again, Bob, we'll take that. I love the optimism. I would love to see that happen with just once. Just have Kevin O'Connell go out there and say, all right, for all you fans that have been sitting, that have been,
there'll be a lot of old shit going
bitching
around
about this. Here you go.
There'd be a lot of old shit going around in the NFL. That's for sure.
Just fucking boat race everybody. No life, stay on for 2 more hours. It's been a long weekend, Norrisfield. I can't talk for 2 more hours.
Some Viking lullabies.
Yeah. Skull for Life Barber. We're getting 3 sacks and an INT. I will take that as well.
I want 5 sacks.
Yeah, I would like to have more than 3 sacks. I think 3 sacks would be a little bit of a disappointment, but 3 sacks is 3 sacks. I will take it.
He's slippery though, Kyler is. That's the thing though. He's not going to stand there. He's going to try to move out of it. He's going to try to move.
Right, but that can also you can run him into sacks doing that if you're getting pressure.
You can run him into a Patrick Jones.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Grenard and Van Ginkel both have an opportunity to hit double-digit sacks this week. They're both sitting at 9, so there's that.
Every once in a while, Cashman sneaks up and gets a sack too.
Yep. Is this a game where Dallas Turner gets a little more play and maybe makes some noise? Possibly. Van Ginkel sack and interception.
Yeah,
Van Ginkel's he almost did it last week. If you
were gonna say, well, yeah, I was on the same thing. He spotted
he jumped it, and Caleb Williams saw it and pulled it back.
Yep,
if he would have thrown it when they thought it was going to, Van Ginkel had that thing in the end zone.
As a fan, seeing him the last 2 times doing it and seeing it right there, you knew exactly what he was going to try to do, and it was smart by Caleb.
Yeah, give him his credit, and to Caleb Williams' credit, he obviously watched tape and saw that coming and pulled it back down because
it right over the top of him. Yeah.
Yep. Because when Van Ginkel timed it to jump up to get it, had he let it go,
I think there was a pump fake there too. Is what made Gink jump.
Yeah.
And had he got it, he would have been gone again. It would have been caught and gone.
Yeah.
Free. I bet it's going to play.
Yeah, I think Grugier Hill probably gets the start. Yes. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Davis get in there a little bit anyway. Dude, super small. No,
we talked about that earlier too. Yep. Yeah, get your hands up. Get your hands up. If you can't get there, get your hands up.
Yeah, knock a ball up in the air and pick it off. To run. Take every advantage you can against this guy. And I mean, there's the Vikings should win this game, and they need to win this game to keep pace. And, you know, I think as long as they go out and play solid football, they will. So with that, we are right at exactly 1 hour. So I think sorry, Norsefius, we can't go another 2 hours. I got to get some sleep. We got a game tomorrow. We got a bunch of other stuff. And want to thank you guys, though, again, for joining us late night on a Friday. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit that like on the way out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so on our YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. And we'll keep rolling here. Shout out always to the Filipino fan club. Don't want to forget them because I don't want to piss the family off. And again, you guys coming with the great discussion tonight, like you always do. Can't thank you guys enough for sticking with us, going through 4 years of this now, and you guys come every week. Just the fact that you guys want to spend a couple hours with us every week just, makes us feel good. And that's why we do this kind of stuff. So thank you from the bottoms of our hearts. So with that, why don't you close us out of here, Lance?
Yeah, like Rhino said, we appreciate all you. I love seeing the new names pop in as well. Let's keep this ship sailing, keep the wind in the sails and keep moving and roll out of US Bank Stadium with a W. And with that being said, we'll see you guys all next week. Millie and Aubrey, if you're watching, Dad loves and misses you. Skol.
Have a good weekend, everybody.